Welcome to the Rewire and Thrive podcast. I am your host, Laura Stiles, clinical hypnotherapist and parent coach at The Mindful Generation. You're in the right place if you're ready to transform your mind, break cycles, and reclaim your power for a life of purpose and freedom. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Rewire and Thrive. Today I have a wonderful guest with me, Alyssa Kyria, aka The Funny Mummy. She is a comedian, actress and a writer, and she also speaks honestly and refreshingly on Instagram all about the highs and lows of parenting, particularly when it comes to mental health. I found her over there and instantly laughed my way through her relatable feed. She's hilarious. So welcome, Alyssa.
Gorgeous introduction. I just want to take you everywhere with me. Can we just do that before I enter a room, please? Laura, thank you.
Like, she's hilarious.
She's so funny. Yeah, thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited for our chat. And I love, honestly, like some of the stuff you post and your reels really do have me wetting myself. So yeah,
thanks.
Good laugh. So tell me about your, first of all, like work, parenting. I generally like to talk to guests about work and parenting and how it fits around your life. And obviously, you know, working in the media or like acting and being a comedian, sort of being on the road and that kind of stuff. How does that fit in with your parenting and how did you get into it?
Wow. I mean, it doesn't really. I find it really difficult to juggle it all. I have one daughter who's 10 and a stepson who's 18. So I suppose, you know, as a kind of mum of one, technically, I do have it a bit easier in a sense because I'm not splitting myself between 2 or 3 kids. But I happen to have a daughter who wants to do 10 million things. She's a performer.
Yeah.
She's definitely got the performing gene. And so every night after school, she's doing something. So I'm kind of all over the place. So it is a real juggle. I think before Lola, it was, you know, you don't even think about it, do you? I was doing gigs all the time. I was traveling up and down the country. I was, you know, trying to get acting work because I'm an actress as well. So I'm always on, you know, trying to push myself out there as an actress as well as a comedian. And I was just going for it. But then once I had Lola, it really did have to change. And actually, that's when myself and my friend Carly Smallman set up a company called Bring Your Own Baby Comedy, which was a way of me doing comedy while being able to be a parent still, because we did daytime shows. So I had to sort of really rein in the evening shows for a while. And I did that for 7 years and it was great. And now Carly runs it because I'm off doing more solo stuff. And now as Lola's got a bit older, I think the juggle is a little bit easier. As they get older, I think, you know, so I definitely would say to anyone in the trenches when they're tiny thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to do anything for myself or my career ever again. It does get a bit easier. Once they go to school and stuff, you have a little bit more of your sort of brain, your time and everything. So that's when I thought, right, okay, I can start doing maybe my own shows, going on a bit of a tour, which is what I'm doing now. As I was saying to you before we started, I'd have to, you know, fit it in. I'd mostly do weekends. I try not to do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's a constant juggle. And my calendar is just ridiculous. I find myself, even I was at almost midnight last night, putting things into mine and my husband's diary going, right, you pick up Lola here because I'm away doing a show. Like, you do this, you do that, and I'll do this. And it's just, I mean, he's brilliant, but I'm the one that has to put the things in the diaries of when, you know, Lola gets picked up and dropped off, all juggling around work and everything. So it's tricky. It was a really long-winded answer to your question.
No, I love it. But no, it's real life, isn't it? And I think with that kind of work, with the work that you do, like you say, there's no like set routine. So I feel like, because I'm such a routine kind of person and I quite like structure in my diary. And, you know, I do all of because of my husband's job, he works quite longish hours, but it's very inflexible. He's just out of the house from quite early till, well, fairly late, but like he misses all the school runs. And so I feel like if I did it that way, I'd probably drop a ball. I'd probably forget to pick up a child or...
Totally. Yeah. I have a reminder on my phone at 3 every day. You have a child, go pick them up. I have to do that because I'm like, oh yeah, you do get engrossed in something, don't you? And something like,
yeah.
But yeah, my husband's the same. He has like a normal job. And so he's he's got an office in the garden actually, which is quite nice. So he works there, but
Yeah.
it's structured and quite inflexible. So yeah, as the flexible one, I'm the one doing school runs and stuff most of the time. Same
Yeah.
as you. But do you have quite a sort of a routine then, a structure with your working life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, it's so funny because I like to think I feel like I'm being interviewed now, but this is
So yeah,
great. It's great because I do myself. You'll realise.
welcome to my podcast with Laura Stiles.
Um, no, it's really funny because I like routine, but then there's also this side of me that really loves going with the flow. So I'm a bit of a weird mix, but yeah, I need to have that kind of routine because otherwise, if I'm thrown off, yeah, it just confuses my brain. So it's generally each day after the school run, I always have a morning walk, like non-negotiable morning walk, even if it's raining, because for my mind, that's a good way to just like, I don't know, set up mentally for the day. And then, yeah, I generally have like client calls and whatever I'm doing with clients between school hours.
Yeah.
And just before school pickup, I always allow half an hour to either listen to a hypnosis or do a meditation or do some EFT tapping. I have like time for me before picking up the kids so I can regulate my nervous system in case they're being...
It's such a good idea.
Yeah, because if I don't recalibrate, don't get me wrong, some days I can't do it if it's a busy like client day, but that half an hour or sometimes even an hour means that I am so like regulated then. Because if one of my kids, like my 5-year-old, if he's going mental or just like, upset or sad or just being challenging, I can hold space for him.
That's a really good idea. And I'm finding that really difficult at the moment, holding space for Lola's emotions and her ups and downs, which are quite intense at the moment. Because I'm going into a different subject now, but I'm perimenopausal. So I'm all over the shop. So I'm finding that really difficult to then be centered and kind of all grown up and the regulated grown up one with her because I'm all over the shop myself. So that's I might take that leaf from your book and try and center myself.
It is luxury, to be fair. I know a lot of people, if they work in an office or if they work anywhere that's out of the house, like it's, I know not everyone can do it, but I suppose if you're freelance working from home like us, if you've got the luxury, like the time to do it, then I do recommend. Can we talk about perimenopause for a minute? Because you talk.
Yes.
You talked about it on your Instagram quite a bit, or recently you've mentioned it, and I think it's so good to talk about openly the vulnerability. Because nearly every conversation I've had recently with women, like I went to a networking thing last week and that's like pretty much all we talked about. And then my mate left me a voice note last week and she's like, I've been doing this and then I'll forget what I'm saying halfway through saying it. I'm like, me too. I don't know if I'm perimenopausal, but I'm wondering if actually this could be the beginning of it. And because I'm like, I'll be in...
You're very young, Laura. You look very young.
I know. I'm 40. I'm not that young. I'm no spring chicken.
You look fab.
I don't know.
Who's your doctor? Who's your surgeon? No, you look amazing.
Have you seen Kim Kardashian? What's her name? Kris Jenner.
Oh, she looks amazing. She looks like 20.
Honestly, I don't understand.
Wow.
Yeah, I went down this rabbit hole of looking at like before and afters of her. Seriously, who? And then I clicked on the doctor. I looked him up, and I was like, oh, okay. Like he doesn't really even advertise himself because he's those like New York, just amazing at what he does. But
yeah.
No, but thank you. Very kind. I think I might have a filter on. It could be the filter.
You look good. You look really good.
You look good.
Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting obsessed with Kris Jenner's face. I just came into the kitchen the other day going to my husband, have you seen Kris Jenner's face? He doesn't give a shit. What?
I need to ask my husband. Yeah, I say things like that to my husband. I'm like, have you seen blah, 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 blah about like someone really random who's like a woman or a mum? And he's like, I don't even know who the fuck that is. And I'm
no, I don't care.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, I mean, that is a facelift and a half, that is. She's done well there.
Yeah. She looks like Kim. She looks like...
She does look like Kim. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, perimenopause stuff.
Perimenopause.
I go to say something to someone and halfway through the sentence I'm like, sorry, I've literally forgotten the question and I don't know what I was just saying, and then I'll spend ages trying to remember and they're just standing there waiting and I'm like good now. So yeah, and
then it's a big anticlimax because it wasn't that exciting anyway, and they're like, they've been waiting for ages. It's just like, oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks. You just wasted 10 minutes of my life.
Exactly.
It's hard because you get a warning. Your body doesn't tell you when it's happening or what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right in the trenches with it again, like to use that expression, but at the moment, but I mean, I'm trying to do whatever I can to help myself through it, but I've been really hit with it quite hard actually. And I think I also got an ADHD diagnosis late last year that was ADHD enhanced by perimenopause. So I'm finding out more as well that I didn't even know I had ADHD, but now it's like all the traits of ADHD have kind of got even more extreme because of the perimenopause. So it's a bit of a soup that I'm going through of perimenopause and ADHD. And I posted the other day about the kind of shame that comes with it, because that's what I'm finding really difficult, is because when I drop a ball, which I'm dropping a lot of at the moment, forget things, I get so like guilty, especially with, being a mum, like, I forget the bag that I needed for Lola for this thing that she goes to. And I was like, oh no, because then she was upset because I'd forgotten it. And then I do things that, I lose my temper or I get really tearful and I just get embarrassed and really, sort of ashamed of it afterwards. So that I find quite difficult. And I think I'm used to doing everything and going at 100 miles an hour, and my brain is just on it, doing a million different things. And it's almost like my brain can't do that at the moment. And I'm finding that really difficult. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just dealing with that, and I am trying to do things to help myself. I've got the HRT gel, but I'm doing weights, I'm doing ice baths, Laura, for God's sake. I'm doing, throwing myself into cold water. I threw myself into a lake the other day. I'm trying to eat healthier. But also, I was thinking yesterday, actually, that this might be a way to reframe things a bit and go, right, I can't do everything. I can't be everyone to everyone. And if I drop a ball, it's not the end of the world. And I need to actually think about the amount of balls that I'm carrying.
Yeah.
And
holding all those balls.
Yeah, that sounded.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
But also, I think you've got particularly don't mind. So, but yeah, so I think so. It could be a chance to look at my life and go, right, what is working? What isn't? What am I doing too much of? Yeah. So, I'm feeling like perimenopause, midlife crisis-y, all the things. But I think I might come out the other side with a bit of a better way of, living my life, actually, that works more for me and not for everyone else.
Definitely. I think often we're thrown into these life challenges in order for it to teach us something. Like, I feel like having my first son taught me to, I just completely retrained and changed my whole trajectory of my work because of having him and having him triggering me with his crying. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And then I fell into the conscious parenting and learning about
that. Wow.
So for me, like, the life change of becoming a mum and that transition enabled me to like change the work that I did. And so, and also then I reached burnout a few years ago, and that similar thing, I was dropping all these balls all the time.
Yeah.
Super stressed. But then I was like, oh, this is a life lesson that I literally was doing everything. I was doing so many things and I wasn't asking for any help. I wasn't even asking my husband to like put the bins out and stuff. I was just carrying it all without asking for any help with any of the domestic load. And so I think, and again, that taught me to have a massive, like, we shifted everything and it took time. And so that's what I help people to do now. I help mums to kind of make those shifts, because often it's the way our brains, it's the patterns and the autopilot that we're kind of governed by. And so, I think just that the perimenopause stage, and also like learning about the ADHD, I think, maybe you can sort of make these changes and just become curious and as to what can you do, or where can you create space in your life to make those changes or do things.
Absolutely. And changing that mindset that, I understand what you mean about you were trying to do all of it. And I think sometimes, because, my husband, does the sort of, as I said before, the normal job. He earns more than me. So I'm like, right, I'm the one, I should be able to handle all the other stuff because he's doing that and he's working more hours than me. So I should be able to do the dinners and the pickups and the drop-offs and all of the things. And when I do drop the ball, and I'm like, oh, sorry. And it's like, hold on, no, I really need to rethink the kind of dynamic of that, and the fact that actually I do so much, and it's okay to share the load, even though he is maybe working more and earning more, and I'm doing this. It's it's still a puzzle that fits together. It's not just one person doing all of one thing and the other one doing all of the other. So that's something I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt, but like it's so interesting that we're a lot of us are still living that kind of 1950s like belief system and that mindset of like, well, if they earn more money, then I'm supposed to be filling this role. But also, yeah, you could be filling the role of almost like what a stay-at-home mum would do, which is bloody hard work. You know, you're dealing with the stuff at home, all the domestic stuff, the invisible load in your brain, you know, picking up your child and all the rest of it, cooking, but you've got work as well. So like, it's bonkers to be able to accept that actually we're capable of doing all of that, because we shouldn't be. We're not capable. We're not robots, and it should.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue with a lot of, you know, I was talking to someone the other day and they were probably in their 60s. And they were sort of like, oh, so are you going to, we were talking about a trip that we're going to do. They're like, oh, so you're going to pack for everyone. You're going to, like basically alluding to like me packing my husband's bag and stuff. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like I've got like 3 humans that I live with. The kids are going to help to pack and he can do his own. And, you know, really just think, why? Yeah, I'm not.
That assumption. Yeah.
Everything. And I'm not, you know. But yeah, that's what's happening a lot. There's like, I think it's 66% of working mums are burnt out because they're still expected to be doing all the domestic stuff and their full-time jobs or part-time jobs, and then they feel shame when they drop balls. And the shame hard bit, I think that's the
bit. It is. It's really interesting, isn't it? And I think it is a kind of mantle or a role we put on ourselves. I know for me anyway, definitely I do that. It's like I was saying to you earlier, I think I was thought this morning, what if there were no benchmarks for the perfect mum, woman, you know, for me, you know, comedian, you know, career? What if there wasn't? Because that's what I think I strive towards, this sort of level of perfection or productivity. And if I fall below it, I'm like, oh no, you know, and that definitely ties in with me, you know, if I don't do something that I think is in my role of all the things, I feel guilty and I apologize. And it's just it's definitely, whether it's society, you know, feeding into that, whatever, but I've definitely taken it on myself. So, but in that is quite good really, because I can go, right, let's have a look at that and see because if I put it on myself, maybe I can take it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I believe we can. It is a shame though that we feel like that's on us. I remember when I was a newish mum and I was afraid to go and have a shower because every time I got in the shower, I had my brain would confuse me, and basically I would hear my baby crying even if he wasn't.
I did that. I totally had that, and I ran out of the shower a few times, naked, like, like, are you okay? Like, no towel, like nobody was crying.
Yeah, I did it as well. I definitely a few times. So those intrusive thoughts, I had quite a lot in very early motherhood. I remember being so worried, like when it got to the stage where I could have a shower and trusted my husband to be a dad and like literally watch my child or our child, you know, for 15 minutes.
Our child.
Yeah. But you know, when you're a new mum, you think like, that's my baby. And I used to find it so hard. And then it got to the stage where I was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have a shower. Can you just like make sure? Because I was so worried that he wouldn't tend to our child while I was in the shower, because I didn't want to hear the crying, because the crying was so triggering and upsetting for me. But like Francie's like, sorry, but can I have a shower? I mean, you know.
But I understand it, because our brains, I think, you know, as new parents as well, we don't know what we're doing. We're so worried about them, and there's that anxiety, and then you're hearing their cries in the shower, so of course you're worried, and you're doing it your way, and then obviously your other half is doing it their way, and they've got to find their way. But I used to hover. I was like a hoverer.
Too.
And my husband, he's done it before. I've got a stepson who's, you know, nearly 18, so he actually was really good because he could give me advice, but I seem to forget that loads of times, and I was just hovering because I do things a certain way, and I was like, well, you know, she doesn't really like it when you button it up, you know, her onesie like that. And he was like, what are you talking about? Go, like, do whatever you need to do. I'm fine here. So, but it's totally understandable. It's just our kind of worrying about them and worrying about whether we're doing a good job, and just all of that
Yeah,
plays into it,
yeah,
isn't
yeah. And I think apologizing for just having basic human needs met.
it? Yeah.
But yeah, the feeling of the shame and the guilt, I think mums struggle with it. So I don't think I've heard a mum that hasn't struggled with like those underlying feelings of shame or guilt for like, things that are, but basically it's like societal pressures that are not our fault. And so,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing, definitely. Yeah. And the perimenopause shame and guilt is the thing that I'm going through at the moment, but I'm hoping that I can just, get to the other side of it. It's just really weird just getting used to having this brain that doesn't work very well. I'm just like, what's happening here?
Yeah. With your ADHD diagnosis,
Mm.
did you suspect, like, did you know for a long time that you might have it, or were you just noticing and then thought, I'll get a diagnosis?
No, I have a friend who has ADHD, and she told me I had ADHD. I'd never thought that I had ADHD before, but it, she's a relatively new friend. I'm chair of the PTA, Laura. So I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing I took on for some unknown reason. But she's my vice chair, and we were just chatting away quite soon after I'd taken on the role, and she was like, "Oh, because obviously you've got ADHD," and I was like, "What? No, 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 I don't." She was like, "Yeah, well, okay." And then she just started sending me loads of videos of ADHD. And apparently that is a thing that ADHD people do. She has it. So she's like, so she was trying to recruit me, Laura. But basically it was really into the ADHD cult.
Like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, completely. I think Sarah Pascoe does a brilliant thing in her comedy about that, actually, that you tell one person that they've got ADHD and then they tell two people. But it is fascinating because once I started finding out more about it, I was like, oh wow. And because when I was growing up, I just thought I was really weird, and because I was bullied a lot as well, and I just thought my brain worked differently. I was so hard on myself. I would get so upset if anyone was mean to me, or and they were a lot because I was bullied. So it's affected me all the way through my life, and things like that. Now I'm finding out about rejection sensitivity dysphoria and disorder, sorry, and the way that just the way that your brain works if you have ADHD, which has been really interesting. It's made me sad for me back then, as in if I'd have known, maybe I would have been kinder to myself, taken myself out of those situations. But I don't think we really looked at ADHD with girls back then anyway, so I don't think that would have been a thing for me. I never even thought about it because I thought ADHD was just boys running around. That's what it was when I was at school. But ADHD, a lot for women, can be internal restlessness, and a lot of things which really explain a lot of my sort of insecurities and the way my brain works. So I'm really glad that my friend, my ADHD obsessive friend, sent me all those videos and sent me down that rabbit hole, because then I went to get my diagnosis, and I was still quite surprised though when it came back. Because also it was that thing going, oh no, like, no, I'm just a bit weird. I'm just a bit, rubbish in some ways or flawed in some ways. Haven't got ADHD, but again, just the way my brain works. But yeah, so it's been interesting finding out about it and just learning more. And my whole reason for getting diagnosed, I think, was just to try and have and just a way to be a bit kinder to myself, rather than go, oh, why can't I do that? Or why doesn't my brain do that? Just go, well, because you've got ADHD, so your brain might work just a little bit differently, and just trying to help myself in that way and manage myself a bit better.
Absolutely. I think if anything, that's probably, I would imagine, the biggest kind of positive part of it is to now just give yourself all that self-love. And I imagine there's a lot of women of our sort of generation, like maybe millennials, Gen Xers, who, because these days we know so much more about mental health, or maybe a lot of people are getting diagnosed these days, and they're probably doing a lot of inner child work because they're like, oh God, I feel so bad for that, 7-year-old me, or, that version of me at school that was given a load of grief from a teacher, when really it's just the way that my brain was operating. And yeah, it's so hard. I have so much compassion for people that clients that have told me similar stuff to what you've said. And it's because I think, again, this is where a lot of the shame comes from, and that drives a lot of what we do. And the rumination after conversations, like, I know that can be a bit of an ADHD trait of like just overthinking conversations afterwards and like, oh, why did I say that? Oh my God, did they just react like that when I said that? And all of that.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare. I'll be doing it after this podcast. I'll be like, oh, well, that was an overshare. Why did I say that? I do. Yeah, absolutely. I do it loads.
I feel like oversharing is, I think this is why your platform is so amazing on Instagram, because you share so much relatable and vulnerable stuff that, like, and I imagine you must get some, like, lots of replies from people that like, that's really helpful. Thank you. I feel so seen, because that's what we sort of need these days. I think there's a lot of people trying to do, I don't know, share stuff and put stuff out there. But if it's not authentic and you're not giving the real you away, like, and I know certain accounts, depending on what people do, like for a living, but you being you and like doing what you do, I find it really helpful. Some of the stuff, like perimenopausal stuff, has been super helpful for me. So I'm like, that, I wonder if I'm now perimenopausal because of what you shared. I'm like, I should look into this. So
that's really kind. Thank you so much for saying that. It's really lovely to hear, because sometimes I do a post and it's particularly like honest or vulnerable, and afterwards I go, oh no, what have I done? I've overshared. And I do go into that spiral. So when you say that, and I also do get messages from people, as you say, saying, oh God, I thought it was just me. It does make me feel better, because I do think it's important. So I kind of push through that, feeling of, oh no, I've overshared. I try and just go, right now, I'm putting it out there because it's good for me as well to share it and to feel like it's not just me, and it does help other people. So, but I definitely have a lot of moments after I've shared things. I message my sister normally going, I just overshared on Instagram. Yes, this is there, so I'm going to delete it. She's like, don't delete it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that your sister's like your sounding board.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I genuinely think it's helpful. Like anyone who is like really open on social media, like, and I've only just started to do it recently, and I find it really hard because, and I think it's because of the space I'm in, like therapy work. But being yourself openly, sometimes I feel like it's really hard.
That is hard. That is really hard. Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of want to be careful with what I share, but also there's probably so much I could share more of that would probably be super helpful. Like, to do with like what I went through when I was young and stuff. And I think I'll get there eventually. But it's really, it's a fine line, and it's trying to find. Yeah.
I mean, it is a fine line, but then it could also not be, in a sense that obviously in your sessions, you're not going to start off the session going, right, let me tell you about my childhood. But I think on your Instagram, actually, I love the idea of going to see someone who has been through the stuff, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. You know what I mean? And I think actually, it's a journey to go on with yourself of how comfortable you feel doing that. So is that, as you say, like you'll get there however you want to get there. But I also don't think it should be something that puts you off the fact that you are like the person doing the session, sharing stuff, because I love that. I love people that have been through it, doing, when I go and see coaches or healers or whatever, it's often because I've got, she's been through some similar stuff to me, so she might, and that's often the reason they've got into the, like, as you said, it's one of the reasons why you started doing what you're doing, because when you became a parent, you just started looking into, all the pressures and how, we juggle everything and how our mind works and everything. So I think it's wonderful to share things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I should do more of it. Can we talk about healing, like mental health and healing? You just mentioned, like, if you see a healer and things like that. But I love talking about this because I'm very, I've got a lovely lady local to me. I live in a village, and there's a lovely lady locally who does all the stuff, but she does like Reiki, like she does massages and nails and all of that, like beauty stuff. But she does Reiki, she does angel healing, she does like. She gets like her tuning forks out, and we had a session once, and she did a bit of like ancestral healing, and she said angels are in the room, and what did she say? She said your ancestors are coming through, and I've got blah 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 saying this, and it was fascinating. I loved it.
That's amazing. She's like a one-stop shop. I'm coming to your village.
She is, yeah. You should come to, honestly, come to my village and I'll introduce you. She's great. But yeah, it's, I mean, if I talk about this stuff to my husband, he's like, what the you're getting ripped off, mate. You're getting mugged off. Like, yeah, he rips it out of me. But no, I'm there. I've tried all of it. I've tried, like, I know as a hypnotherapist, I have to get our own therapy and coaching and help.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
Space for others. And so at the moment I have somatic experiencing, and I love like the movement and feeling into the body.
Ooh, that's
And
what my sister does.
yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I've integrated some of it into my work, but I thought your sister did that. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, really feeling into your body and like shaking out and basically completing the stress cycle and that kind of stuff. But what's the most interesting kind of healing, or the most like woo woo interesting like healing stuff you've had?
Oh yeah, I've definitely got that for you. And again, my husband laughs at me as well. He's like, babe, you know, whatever works. But really, I went to see a shaman. And at one point, I was lying in a field, and she was chanting and sort of waving this huge sort of a fan that was made of like feathers, like massive, like eagle feathers. And she was then drumming this drum, and I was in this field, and I was like lying in the dirt, and I thought, hold on a minute, this is for me, this is absolutely bonkers. But I bloody loved it. And I started going on this sort of drumming journey, and she's absolutely brilliant. And I loved it, but I was also laughing as well, thinking this is just absolutely bananas. I've gone just
Was it you?
off into woo-woo world. Sorry.
You with a group, or were you
Yeah, that was by myself. I was by myself.
really?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, actually. I mean, it was amazing, but it was really out there.
Yeah. I want to see a shaman. I feel like I would like to go to Peru or somewhere and see a shaman, like take some ayahuasca and see a shaman.
Oh, I'm nervous of the ayahuasca bit. The shaman, I've got this lady's number. I'll give it to you. She's absolutely brilliant. But so you don't have to go to Peru if you don't want to.
I'd like to.
Yeah, but I think you should. I think you should go to Peru. That'd be great. Will I come with you? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the ayahuasca thing, because I don't like being out of control. And I feel like if I went on an ayahuasca trip, I don't know if I come back. I've heard, and I think I don't know if someone's made this up, but I heard a story of someone who went on one of those trips and is now in a relationship with a tree somewhere in a forest. And that's where they live.
Oh, no. Yeah, that probably happened to me. I'd probably go marry a tree. Be like, see you later, Adam. I'm off.
I just really get nervous that I just would end up somewhere else.
That sounds like quite a nice life, though. Just get away from it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I'll do it. Yeah, I'm very interested in like altered states, and I think this is why I like hypnotherapy, because, and I don't, I hope this doesn't scare people who are listening, but like, because it's not like you're out of control and you're going in, taking drugs or whatever, but it does fascinate me the way that the brain works and how those different states can take you into, the brainwaves slow down and you can go into like this amazing healing journey, or you can just come out of it and you've like quantum leaped into a different version of yourself. And that's what
that sounds really, I'm gonna have a hypnotherapy session with you, Laura. That sounds really good.
Have one.
Really good. Yeah, I'm gonna
we'll do something. We'll do it. We'll do a little we'll do a skill swap. You make me laugh and I'll do I'll give you some hypnotherapy.
That's great. Who needs Peru?
Yeah, no, I've taken magic mushrooms before, and I went on a trip. That was quite cool, but I'd like to try it properly again in a different kind of way. I mean, I did it at the full moon party, and I'd like to try it in a different kind of way, see what it does.
I did mushrooms in Australia when I was traveling, and it was great fun. And I did actually like that trippy thing, but I was with some really nice people that I felt quite safe with and stuff. So, and it was brilliant. Like I was with this couple, and this was years ago. I was 19, but I still remember. And they were really lovely, and they were chatting away. He was Italian and she was American, and I just saw them. They went into a TV set and they went into black and white. And I said, you're in a TV, and then they started like just doing little sketches just to entertain me, and it was just mad. It was so funny, and I still remember that. But I haven't done anything like that since.
Genuinely, I find it interesting because the mind, we still don't know much about the mind. And I just think that there's so much more we need to find out and learn about it. And I think that, it just fascinates me because I think
it's fascinating. And isn't it like we only use a really small percentage of our brains?
People, I've heard that we only use 10%. That's not true. They used to think it was a tiny amount, but it is actually
is it bigger? Okay.
a bit more than that. But no, what fascinates me is the fact that what we do most days is mostly on autopilot, and that's why I love the hypnotherapy, because it's just like rewiring that.
Oh, I love that. And you're right, it is on autopilot, isn't it? And we're kind of on a loop. I was watching a video the other day saying you're on a loop because of your kind of beliefs and your thoughts, that you have the same thoughts, the same beliefs, and you just go off on this little loop all the time.
That's it. Yeah, we have that process every day. So, like, for example, when you wake up and go and brush your teeth, you have a process for brushing your teeth. Like, that's your way of doing it. That no one else will do. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got our own way of doing things. So, doing that when that's when we're in a trance state. That's the same way it is hypnosis, because you're just on autopilot. And the same as like when you drive a car and you go somewhere and you're like, oh, how did I get? I actually don't remember that journey. It's the same kind of. That's when you're in trance. So yeah, hypnosis is not scary, but it is interesting that it digs deep.
Love that. Love it. That's fascinating. Oh, go you doing that. I think that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Okay, final question, because I'm just aware of the time. Who's your favourite comedian?
Yes, I knew you might ask me this, and I really struggled with this answer. Actually, I had to Google comedians. It's like I don't actually watch a lot of comedy anymore, but I do watch some like series and stuff. So yeah, okay, I have a few. So there's a fabulous comedian called Jen Brister, who's one of my favorites, and she's getting more and more famous now. So I think she'll end up like doing loads on telly and stuff, because she's just so funny, deadpan, self-deprecating. She's a mum and just really, really funny. I have another favorite, Jess Foster Q, who's just absolutely brilliant as well. So definitely, I'd say watch out for those two fabulous women.
Who was the first one?
Jen Brister, very, very brilliant, and Jess Foster Q, again, also very brilliant. I just watched an amazing program with Will Ferrell and his trans friend driving across America and getting to know each other now that his friend has transitioned to be a woman. And it reminded me how hilarious Will Ferrell is. He's so funny. So he's up there for me, and Tina Fey. So I love a lot of the SNL gang. So yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix of people. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this amazing documentary called Will and Harper, which I've just watched it's on Netflix. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've just seen the image. I do recognise that.
And Jen,
yeah. Oh, thank you for that. And I do know Jen Brister. I've just looked her up. I'm rubbish with names. I'm rubbish with remembering names, but I know faces. So I've seen her. Yeah, thank you for that.
And who's yours? Who's your faves? Have you got faves?
I've got loads. Like, me and my husband love comedy, and a lot of my stuff, I think it's just nostalgic stuff for me. Like I grew up watching Harry Enfield and Kathy Burke and all of those kinds of.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So
I love like female, like Kathy Burke.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I really love Miriam Margolyes. I know she's not really.
But she's funny though. Yeah. She's great fun.
Yeah, I don't know, but she's just fucking funny.
Personality. Yeah.
Just
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if so. He's a little bit off. He's not mainstream. But, oh my God, his name's gone out of my brain now. See, this happens with me these days.
I know, honey. I'm with you. Don't worry.
Annoy me. When I think of his name...
I'm just about to do a video, actually, of me forgetting names of people and things, because I'm constantly going around the house going, have you seen this skibbity bob? Where's the bit bop, do shimmy boo? And people are supposed to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what? So when you remember, just let me know.
When I remember, I'll let you know. But no, I know. And Sarah Pascoe, who you mentioned earlier.
Fab.
Yeah, she's great. And I also quite like, this happened again. What's her name? I know her name on Instagram, Catherine. What's her real name?
Oh, yeah, Catherine Ryan. Yeah, she's great. I was going to say she's another one of my faves.
Yeah. She's so witty and she's super intelligent as well. Like the way she never trips up, and she's relatable, and she's done
a whole thing on parenting actually, and I haven't watched it yet. But she went and interviewed lots of different parents. So I need to catch up with that actually, because I think that'll be really interesting.
Yes. Oh, I need to catch up with that. Yeah. Recently I've not watched very much, but no, we've been going back to the old stuff. Like I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. David, and so we tend to just dip in and out of like stuff from like back in the day, and then we'll watch something that's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Actually, Ricky Gervais is one of my absolute favorites.
Oh,
As I'm not, I like his stand up, but my main thing are his series. I love Afterlife. I love Extras. I love The
yeah.
Office. He's just a genius. He's so
He's
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's,
really, really funny.
yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah. The Office is, yeah, it just takes me back to, again, like,
Oh, so good.
Afterlife was good and it made me cry as well.
Me too. It was so sad, but so funny. And
Yeah.
Extras, we watch when we are in the mood for something that we just want to just have a laugh. We watch episodes of Extras.
Yeah.
Because it's just, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Good. Yeah. 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 He's brilliant. Okay. Final question, which
Hit me.
is, if you could go back and speak to 7-year-old Alyssa, what would you say to her?
Yeah, I love that because such a lovely question. I think, because now I've got the ADHD diagnosis, I think I just go back to her and say, there's nothing wrong with you. I think I'd say to her, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not wrong. Your brain just works in a bit of a different way to everybody. I know you feel you're really different, but you're lovely. And, don't beat yourself up, because I think I was beating myself up probably from that age, really, just feeling really different to everybody. And I would say to her, yeah, probably what I'd say to myself now as well. Don't need to be perfect. Don't need to prove anything to anyone. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'd say.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And I worry actually about like asking that question because it can probably make people quite emotional. Because when I think,
Yeah.
it's like, oh God, I'd probably say something and make myself cry, because it's that age where you do go through a bit of a change, and you're more aware of things, and your brain is at that age. But yeah, self-compassion for 7-year-old Alyssa.
100%, absolutely.
Do you know what? There's probably other kids in your school who were neurodivergent and who were going through the same, and just and I guess in any school, I see it now at my son's school, and I'm like, yeah, just it's so hard. But something really, really interesting sorry, just one final thing that I wanted to say. I read the other day, which was back in the day, when we would have been living in tribes, or, living in community before, there would have been everyone who was like, there was neurotypical people, but there was like a person with ADHD, a person with dyslexia, a person with, autism. But the reason why we all fit and work so well together as a community is because we all had our different strengths. And that's why
Lovely.
It's horrible if people have like this misconception of their brains being broken, if that's just not the case. Like, I'm sure you're amazing at hyper focusing on like one certain thing, or just
you
got like your own brilliant talents, and I can imagine like you on stage being like in the zone and being great at what you do, and I would never be able to do that because my brain's too it just works differently.
Oh, it works differently, yeah. And that's a lovely way to put it, because in the tribe everyone has the things that they're great at, or that they bring to the they're just them who they are, bring to the table. So you don't have to be everything and good at everything, because that is definitely, I think, again, as women, we beat ourselves up for not being able to do it all. But actually, we're not all of us good at absolutely everything. And I love that tribe kind of mentality that everyone's bringing something different to the table. That's really nice.
Yeah. It wouldn't work if we were all neurotypical. It just wouldn't, in the workplace as well. There's certain companies that are deliberately employing people who are, dyslexic or who have ADHD or whatever, because they know that they have got that zone of genius and that's going to bring it to that place of work. And so, yeah, it's
cool.
Yeah, I think we're finally starting to, people are understanding it more.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, love that.
Oh, well, thank you, Alyssa.
Oh, thanks.
And thank you for coming on and having a giggle with me. And I hope that it's been fun for you as well. And
I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. And where can people find you? Tell me where do you hang out the most online?
I'm on Instagram the most, and Facebook, and it's at the Funny Mummy UK. So you can come and find me there. I've also got a website, alyssakyria.com, or I think it's thefunnymummy.co.uk as well. But go to Insta. That's probably the easiest way to find me. And I do loads of stuff on there. And I'm also doing live shows, The Funny Mummy, all over the shop as well. So come and see me.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. I've loved this conversation.
Me too.
And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye.